And welcome to Ways Breakfast. Always a pleasure to have you with us as we bring you thought-provoking conversation that touch the heart of our society. Today, we turn our attention into the world of education. Again, this sector once again is facing turbulence as ASUU begins another round of strikes. The federal government has maintained its stand on the no work, no pay policy, warning that lecturers who refuse to teach will not receive their salaries. But this morning, we're asking, is that policy just or unjust? Should the government uphold accountability and discipline in the public service? Or should ASUU strike continue to be seen as a legitimate fight for fairness and better conditions? I am going to be yours for this morning. My name is Triumph Akimboye, and I'm not going to be doing this alone. I am joined by my most beautiful, the wonderful Chioma Kalu and Oluchi Omenka, and together we are going to be doing this and unpacking all the issues from this morning. So before we get into the details of what we are doing this morning, let's meet with my beautiful co-anchors.
I like when you call me beautiful.
How are you doing this morning?
Very well.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
You're very happy.
Yes.
Why would she be happy? She's looking so beautiful this morning.
Thank you.
What's the secret? You disappeared, you came back to pepper us.
Meanwhile, but by the time I was away, I was not even feeling, the best. I was not feeling well. I had to take care of my health. I mean, something happened to me yesterday. I would love to tell you all about it.
Please do
so
tell.
they say health is wealth. Because tell me why I got to the pharmacy, after the doctor prescribed some drugs to me, and he prescribed just 2 drugs and then 1 paracetamol. By the time I was getting the 2 drugs, by the time I heard the price, I'm wondering that what's going on. Wow. Is it that is it that expensive to be sick? I don't want to be sick again. Please.
Funny how my story has
just
details about healthcare and the money that we've spent so far. If you are healthy, you should really thank
God for life. You don't know what God has done for you, honestly.
Speaking about health, that's why people are tilting more to this traditional medicine. Because they can't afford the conventional white people drugs anymore. But even this traditional medicine, there's no dosage to it. You just shake and drink.
But the most affordable way to take care of your health is to eat healthy. And if you realize what healthy eating is, it's just taking good fruits, right? Building your immune system. Because sometimes the sicknesses that you have is because your immune just got weakened. You're down with flu, you're down with catarrh and cough. But if you have built it well by taking fruits that doesn't cost as much as maybe 1,015 regularly,
and also taking care of yourself when it comes to, getting adequate rest, because that's one of the issues, getting adequate rest.
Lagosians don't get adequate rest.
How you won't rest when the economy is looking at your face?
Lagosians don't
You are
rest.
thinking of 20 side hustles to be able to survive in this country. How do you want to rest?
But then we are grateful for good health, and once again, good morning. So we are going to head on to a very short break right now. When we return, we are going to get into what is trending. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're excited to dive back into the latest news and current event. Now it's time for us to take a look at what is making the headlines today. We'll be scanning the pages of top newspapers, The Punch, The Guardian, and the Daily Trust News to bring you the biggest stories of the day, from local developments to global news. It's about time for us to get into it. Chioma Kalu will be taking us through the Punch News.
All right, stories making headlines on the Punch newspapers. The first we have on the upper part of the paper says, Makinde warns Wike camp against stopping PDP convention. Why do they always, each time PDP want to have convention, there is always a Wike camp. Anyway, I'm not going to dwell on those guys. ASUU strike grounds varsities, FG clamps down. This is beginning to sound like a broken record. The biggest story here, 2027, opposition splits over NAS poll shift plan. Retired AIG leads probe into killings by Oshun Omotekun. Lower, we have slain husband's family, slams Tinubu's pardon for Miriam Sanda. And then Fubara swears in SSG cautions against power abuse. Lagos rearraigns kidnap kingpin Evans over 2 cops murder. And lastly, Borno maintains lead at 7.4 million complete online voter registration. That's really impressive for Borno. But my story of interest is the story on the opposition splitting over NAS poll shift plan. Now, what's the story about? So there is a proposal, in the House of Assembly that's the cycle of election be moved from from February or March to November 2026. Oh, yes. When I saw this thing early this morning, I'm like, okay, is that why some people are started campaigning? Did they bring it just in case? And then you see the House, they are split in two. Some people are saying, oh, no, this cannot happen. This is a bit to prolong Tinubu's tenure. The other people are saying, oh, no, we need this thing, it's good for us. So at this point, how did we get here?
You know what I think? I feel like there's some manipulation that wants to occur. And that's why you can just wake up randomly and just
put something.
Think of bringing it earlier. It has been working with February,
4 years, February, March, yes.
For too long. So what is the difference between November, December, and February, March? Why do you want to insist on that?
Why are you convinced that change is needed?
I smell a lot of manipulation.
Yeah.
Because if they're when we are talking about November 26 now, there are a lot of people. Let's even talk about the new INEC chairman that just got on board, because this person has a whole lot of things to prepare for. Even before the November 26, there are other elections. Now you are even bringing it backward. How about the state of the nation? Usually during this Ember season, you get people, people at risk. People are not some people don't like to travel. Once it's October, September, some people will all travelings and all of that. Now you're now putting the election there. Some people might not even be able to say that, okay, I want to go and vote. I want to travel from one place to the other. So I think they should give an explanation. They should just stop coming out to just.
You should be thinking about how to make lives easier. This season is a season. You convinced airline operators to reduce airfare. You're convincing transport workers to drop because season, that's what they call it, right? Is the season. So thinking about this is not what we should be thinking about. Now, another thing I want to ask. States that had by-elections, off-cycle elections, on those states, I think Bayelsa, all these people that didn't do election when others, what happens to them? You're making the whole thing chaotic. Forget about this. This is not what we need at this point.
And if you purposely have to put an election in a period where we can already smell chaos, it shows that you want to manipulate things already. And I'm even asking, so would it be that the president would have completed his 4-year term as at 2026?
Maybe when the person comes on board, maybe they would just have to wait till 2027. But really, I think they should give an explanation, because if you would ask me, I don't see any reason why they are moving it back, and they are just moving it back now.
Thinking about it, I think this thing has something to do with the proposal they first brought out that they should make it a 6-year tenure.
Yeah.
Are you seeing? Are you connecting the dots? I think this has something to do with it. Yes.
Then it to start opening up.
Yeah, I think it has something to do with it.
Please, they should not bring that 6-year tenure back. I don't even want it. I don't want
what
to hear that.
What you don't understand is they are not asking your opinion.
That's just because why would you bring this November 2026? This one is like a whole lot. It's a different development that I don't think we should accept.
This is not what we need. We need time to. You have not even finished all the things you promised us when you came into the. You've not scratched the surface. Why is it that you're thinking about the next tenure? How are we thinking?
And then I'm thinking about INEC.
Some people said, oh, 4 years is not enough to achieve anything. Look at Alex Soti. Look, in 2 years, look at what Abia State is looking like. Meaning it's possible. That guy has literally just brought all of them out in the limelight to show them that this is actually possible if you put your heart to it. So what are we doing in this country, really? That's all I have, because I can't keep keep doing this every morning. No, that's all I have on the Punch newspapers.
You signed up for this, Chama. You keep doing it.
You will keep doing
I'm sure
it.
another update is waiting for you.
Very
tomorrow.
annoying.
Honestly, I feel like we should, before these people make their laws and stamp things, speak
Give
to the
us heads
people.
up. Let us
know what's going on. Have the people in mind before
We just
coming
wake up
up
and
with
we're
anything.
seeing something.
Manipulation is not what we need to run the country. But let me take you through the Daily Trust. The major headline reads, Miriam Sanders release worst injustice to us. That's husband's family. Okay, above that, we see Super Eagles face Benin in must-win World Cup qualifier today. Enugu commissioners quit PDP as Mba joins APC. National Assembly wants election to hold earlier with no reasons stated yet, but we're leaving that. Soldier allegedly commits suicide after killing wife in Niger. 10 governors attend traditional rulers meeting in Lagos. Cameroon's coalition claims early victory in presidential poll. The last story, which is, of course, the story that we're going to be highlighting for our hot topic today, says varsity short ASUU rejects no work, no pay policy. You know, I was going to ignore this, but what is really going on in marriages today? I'm no marriage counselor. I do not even know what really happens in that line because I'm not married. But we've been seeing news recently of not just divorce at this point. Yes, there's disagreement, there's conflict, but it's leading to murder. And it is scary because I feel like marriage is one that brings people who are in love together, right? So how would you think of killing somebody that you once loved? You know, the story I was telling you yesterday, this couple that, I mean, the soldier man that died and the wife who is on trial, probably, they got married this year in April. And the conflict that led to murder happened few months later. I'm seeing another story, another soldier allegedly commits suicide after killing wife in Niger. So I just want to ask a question. What's really happening with marriages today? I know that the divorce rate has increased. I know that people separate a lot. Human beings are becoming more temperamental. I mean, people do not know how to handle and deal with relationships based on many things that have happened in the society. But murder? That is becoming very extreme, and it needs us to really sit down and ask questions. So we don't see this dominating the headlines because it's scary. Someone you are claimed to love, someone you are intimate with, someone you have had children with. The next thing after a conflict is to end the person's life. I mean, the devil is really working overtime at this point, and we need to be very careful. I was not going to highlight it, but there are many people watching us that are married. Some people are going to be married. I mean, it was last year and this year that this whole class of 24, class of 25, check Bella Niger, weddings upon weddings. Beyond divorce, we're seeing people killing themselves because of conflict that could have been resolved. The devil is working overtime.
This is a very sad story. If you like, this is a very sad story. I was about to, you know, I was going to say that the perpetrator should be brought to book, but which perpetrator would you even see?
He has killed himself now.
He has even killed himself already. And if you remember that the time when we were talking about, I can't remember the news we were talking about, they highlighted the fact that the moment, you know, everybody decides that, oh, okay, I can do whatever it is that I like, my personal choice, this is me, this is one of the things that we will end up getting. Because why would you promise forever with a man or with a woman, and then the both of you you came together, you agreed that, okay, I'm going to do this lifetime, and then we are questioning the lifetime, or we can't even find the
There's
lifetime.
no lifetime
They are
anymore.
demanding the lifetime.
There's no
lifetime.
Isn't that
Isn't
There's no
funny?
lifetime anymore.
So
Actually,
I don't
Death did do
understand.
these two parts. In fact, no, Death did not do them parts. They died together. You know, but you know, see, this thing for me, right? I wonder how that it goes to show you that love is really not enough in this thing that we're doing, right? Because you go on social media, you see paparazzi, oh, I love him so much, he's the air that I breathe. And then 3 months down the line, I can't stand you. I don't know how I ended up with you.
Get married.
But on the flip side, right, I think Nigerians, Africans at large, should learn to embrace therapy. Right? You know, they tell you it's not an African thing. I should go and be telling, I should go and tell a stranger my problems. But come on. These people are certified, they're trained, they're licensed for these things. Because conflict is bound to happen. It doesn't matter how in love you are with your partner. So embrace therapy, especially these soldiers. Because I don't know, but these people have a lot of temperament.
Devoid of attention and a lot of
I
things.
don't know.
Because I don't know what might have triggered from one thing to the other.
The wife's story, I was telling you yesterday, her own side of the story, she said, oh, he beats her and then asked her to leave the house before he gets back. And then he gets back, she's still there. He picks up the keg of petrol and accidentally pours it on himself, and somehow he was in flames. Now, we don't know if that's the right, if that's what happened. But for the fact that, she said people in the barrack already knows he has the temperament, he beats her up. I mean, you just got married, and you're dealing with that. You said that even went to get the kind of married, you know? So that's a soldier. Now, this other soldier in Niger State has killed his wife. Not just killed his wife, commits suicide. That tells you there's something going on upstairs with this guy, right? He's dealing with so much, but he doesn't want to speak up. And also, we have a society that tells you, oh, you're a man, shut it down. Men don't cry. You want to go and be sharing, are you a woman rapper? You want to go and be sharing your problem with people. That's the problem. So I think we should embrace therapy. It doesn't make you less of yourself.
And maybe people should start being slower with getting married.
And beyond that,
I was about to say that not a normal person, do not start a family.
Or you that you're about to be the victim, you can already see, because there is no smoke without a fire. Because you can already see the kind of person you're getting married to, but it's going to be better. He's going to be a better person. He's going to be that. Sometimes they don't see, but it happens also that for some people, they can actually tell all these things. Some people, you would even see some relationship. You are the outsider. You are the third or the fourth party. You're already saying that this relationship is not going to end well. But the second and the first party, they can't see it.
They say the worst people to advise are people in love.
Honestly.
You don't advise those people.
They can't see it.
Love is blind.
But away from love and all those sad stories, let us take a look at, something on the Punch, on the Guardian News. I'm just going to be highlighting, my story of interest is not even here, but let's talk about some of the stories making headlines in the front page of the Guardian News. 72.64% of Nigeria's petrol imported amid rivalry from new refineries. Interesting. They mentioned some of the functional refineries in Nigeria, talked about Lagos, talked about Delta, Kaduna, and, some of the things that they've been able to produce. And another story you would find on page 3 of the Guardian News, NAS proposes November 2026 for next general elections. Chioma has spoken about that. Another story you would find in page 4, Dangote warns against using monopoly claims to discourage local investment. I really don't want to say anything about Dangote today, please. Let's move to page 3 of the Guardian News. Defections, Makinde insists Nigerians owe the ultimate verdict. And then Labour wades into federal government ASUU rift as strike grounds varsities nationwide. Strike continues today. We will talk about that. But my story of interest, what I really want to talk about that actually caught my attention yesterday, is in respect to the fact that the federal government will disburse 6.3 billion naira interest-free loans to 21,000 flood disaster victims.
Interest-free, you said?
To cushion the impact of climate-related crises and strengthen food security. According to them, each beneficiary will receive 300,000 naira. My ladies, to support recovery, particularly in agriculture and farming, which have been severely impacted by the flood.
This is a loan, not a grant.
Interest-free
Why can't
loans.
it be a grant?
Yeah, that's why I asked that question. Why are we paying back?
The unfortunate thing is that if it is not loan, this 300,000 will become 20,000 naira.
No, you don't get it. The 300,000.
Why is it a loan?
It will help us, but why are you loaning me?
That's what I'm saying. That if it is not going to be a loan, then you are going to see 20,000 naira
for a disaster that is most likely, in fact, 90% not my fault. It's about your fault.
And I've lost a lot of things.
Planning.
Yes.
I've lost my entire maybe building or something to this disaster. I am internally displaced, for God's sake. I'm not in my house. And then you want to loan me money. I don't even have a job, right? We are still battling unemployment. I don't even have a job to get money to feed myself. And you want to carry base and put on top of my head 300,000 naira.
It's giving the vibe of a father loaning a child money to go to school. I'm going to send you to school, but you're going to pay me back. It's your responsibility
to actually pay this money.
I have this basic
education.
It is your responsibility. I'm not the person, but if I was, I'm not going to pay any loan back.
They will jail you. You wait for presidential pardon.
The fact that they are saying that they are trying to boost their health, the well-being, education. They are saying that this is what this 300,000 is going to about 8.1 million households.
Will boost health.
Do you know how much school fees is?
Education.
I just spoke about the drugs that I bought this morning. Please, let's stop bringing something out on the media. You just had some 6.3 billion naira to make it first feel like, okay, you're about to do me a favor. I don't think that is something that we are going to keep getting happy about. But I think that's all that we are going to be having for the newspaper headline. So we'll go on a very short break right now. When we return, we are going to get into our hot topic for this morning. Let us look into federal government and ASUU. We'll be right back. Please stay with us. We are asking a direct question this morning. Is federal government's no work, no pay policy against ASUU just or unjust? This issue has once again sparked heated conversations nationwide. Earlier this week, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, declared a fresh strike, citing the federal government's failure to honor previous agreements, including improved funding for universities, payment of earned allowances, and implementation of the 2009 renegotiated agreement. In response, the federal government reiterated its no work, no pay stance, insisting that lecturers who down tools will not be paid for the period they are absent from work. According to the Minister of Education, this policy is a constitutional provision aimed at discouraging disruptions in the academic calendar and ensuring accountability in the public service. But ASUU argues otherwise. The union says the government's position is both unfair and provocative, given that lecturers are striking not out of laziness or disobedience, but because the government has consistently failed to meet its promises. They insist that the no work, no pay policy is being used as a weapon to silence them rather than address the root cause, which is the decaying state of Nigeria's tertiary education system. Really, when I say things like this, I am sorry, to the federal government. I am not so sorry. I am sorry that I'm not very sorry.
Please don't be.
About what I want to say that, when I was speaking with Chioma, that when I saw the letter, it might seem like the law, but it feels like a threat. I'm like, what's going on? Why are you trying? I mean, I was looking at it. They were saying that no absent from work, no pay. Like, why are we looking away from the real problem? What is going on? But that is even that. Let's also talk about ASUU. At first, I had a thought in my mind. I'm like, is this not even already getting too much? They're already sounding like a broken record, coming back and forth. Between 1999 and 2022, they've embarked on 16 strikes.
18, my sister,
18.
in 26 years.
In 26 years. Let's talk about the 2022 strike that went on for a very, very long time. It's just a whole lot to, talk about. But let's even hear, your immediate reaction first when you saw the story or when you realized that.
My immediate reaction is not again. That was the first thing that not again. See, there are certain stories that when you revisit over and over, sometimes when you even want to comment on it, it might almost come with, I feel like crying at this point. Because I'm trying to just even... There was a time, let me even give you this story before I go ahead. to talk about what is happening. There's a time I really used to look up to lecturers. I saw them as people who have a very honorable profession. Like, if you're a lecturer, because I remember seeing someone who was a very young lecturer in school. I'm like, imagine if somebody called me Dr. Oluchi or Professor Oluchi and all of that. It was a very honorable profession. But with everything that is going on, we are stripping these lecturers of the honor that educators ought to have. And I know some of them are still, fighting to retain that honor. But let's look at the bigger picture. This profession, this sector has suffered for too long. And what I see the federal government doing, I'll say it again, I think that's the one word for all of the things we've been seeing on the newspaper, is very manipulative. So they are coming from the point of, the labor laws, the labor policy, where not just ASUU now, different parastatals, labor unions, if you're not working, there should be no pay. That's okay. But these people are not just working because they are lazy. The lecturers in school are not saying, I'm not going to teach this student, we're not going to continue with the calendar because we're tired. They are not working because the federal government has failed repeatedly to honor an agreement. Many times people will sit behind closed doors. They will bring out papers. They will have talks. They will discuss. Will feel like things are being done. But this federal government will go back on their words. And if you look at labor unions, the only reasonable way for them to respond to actions is by striking. You see, strike, it's almost like that's our last resort. Yesterday I was saying that I'm tired of the incessant strike, but let's even look at it. What other option do you think they have?
Right.
Striking has only been the most balanced option for labor unions to insist on their rights. And now you want to strip them of that so that they keep what? They keep begging for the basic needs?
I mean, something that the president of ASUU, one of the things that he talked about was, that's Professor Chris. He was saying that why would they think that? Because I first saw the Minister of Education's, side of the story. He was coming out to say that they did not even wait for them to say anything, and then they went on strike. At that point, I was even also, that why would ASUU do that kind of thing, something like that. And then by the time I was hearing, the side of Professor Chris, he was talking about the fact that end of last week, by the time they told them to come sit down together and everyone should, discuss, let's actually discuss this, because there was actually supposed to be a meeting. There were supposed to be meetings. He was talking about the fact that the day of that meeting, I think Friday or Saturday, it was only them that were on ground and some other people. But the key bodies that should be there, nobody was there. They were just there left to sit down and decide what. And then by the time they now said that they were going to send the documents, maybe on WhatsApp or something like that, to send the documents to him, he was saying that because the Minister of Education, when I was saying, he was saying that they were talking to the president of the association, and then the president of the association is not responding to them, he's not reading the documents, it's not this, it's not that. And then the president of the association, that's Professor Chris, was saying that, okay, you sent a particular document. When we were supposed to see and have this conversation and write everything down, let us reach an agreement. None of the people that should actually, the bodies that should actually be there, none of them showed up. Now, you are also saying that by the time they sent the documents they said, the man said that he could not open the documents. And then eventually they could open the documents. And then they could not reach them again.
This is sounding like super story.
Just a lot.
This is too much story.
So much story. So are we saying that this is affecting documents?
You see, I mean, as much as I want to say, according to labor laws, if you don't work, you shouldn't be paid. But it is very laughable that you are the reason I'm not working, and it's still you that want to put labor laws to my face.
Manipulative.
It's not. It doesn't make any sense to me. These people, you call them every time they threaten strike. You say, "Oh, please, no, we are." The last time the Minister of Education, I think Alausa, he called them and said, "Oh, we understand your plight. You've been very patient with us. Oh, please, just one more meeting." And now this one more meeting is the one they didn't show up, and you're sending document via WhatsApp. Come on, are we jokes in this country? Are we? What is going on? I don't even. I'm tired. See, when I saw this thing yesterday, I'm tired.
I'm sorry, but I have to say this one.
Terrible.
I have to say this one. I think I even lost my train of thought because I'm filled with a lot of emotions right now. So I'm going back to the highlights of what we're discussing today. It says no work, no pay. And these bodies, the federal government, they've always been coming from a point of, we understand your plight, just hold on to us. But I'm trying to, I feel like they probably take these people for granted.
For granted, yes.
And I think it is specifically for the people in the educational sector. ASUU, NASU,
because they will not try it. If they should try it with this federal sector. If they should try it with
Pengasan did that, and you came out to say that they don't have, you cannot hold Nigeria on hold.
You're going too far. See this River State state of emergency. It's because of oil that they jumped inside and say, hey, don't touch our oil.
Bodies like that.
And I'm wondering, why is it that with the education sector, it seems like those ones, we will give them something, make they hold on small.
They don't care about it.
It shows that there's something more that we do not know. This has lingered for too long. I want us to get to a point where we're not talking about ASUU strike for a very long time. If we repeat, of course, I know that this is not the only labor union that has strike. Doctors always have their strike. It was recently that we also saw the nursing strike, midwives, doctors. Yes, but these ones seem to be raised to power 1,000. 1,000. It's so recurring, and it's making me feel like whatever happens behind the closed doors, even as to themselves, they're not being sincere. What exactly do they discuss with you that never seems to see the light of day? Because sometimes they have this discussion, in the next 2 to 3 months, we're going back to strike. What did you agree to? Goodness always says that these people sometimes collect crumbs. Because if you want to say something be sorted once and for all, why aren't you insisting on it? What crumbs are you being given? What answer? What do they pet you with that makes you feel like we can go on with activities? Because I feel like that's why we're having it. That's why they are taking them for granted.
You know, Oluchi, I was thinking that, okay, maybe the demands of ASUU is like beyond the federal government.
What do you mean
beyond?
Triumph, if they don't pay you your salary for 8 months, is that so much of a demand? Triumph.
Because really, let's just look into their demand. You know, they were talking about the full implementation of the 2009 federal government that they've been talking about back and forth, you know, the payment of withheld 3 months salaries. And another demand of theirs is end to victimization of lecturers in LASU, Photo, and KSU. That's Prince Abubakar University. And also the revitalization of funds for public universities. The federal government has come out to paint this as if ASUU is the victim. ASUU is the
criminal.
Are the victim. Like they are the victim. In fact, I was looking at a report where federal government is asking ASUU to shelve the strike if they're thinking about the interest of the students.
Hey, yeah. Do you know that ASUU is really thinking about the interest of the students? Go to your federal universities across board. Go to their classroom, all those ones that have TET fund programs in. Go and see where the students that you are supposed to think of are sitting to learn. There are ACs that are not working, projectors that are dusty, chairs that are broken in some of these major theaters. You might go to some faculties and their theaters are looking great, but can it take the capacity of students that have been admitted? These ASUU people that you think are against the student interest, I'm for ASUU today. I'm sorry, because I've graduated, I'm not
Don't be sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Because it's reality.
They are for the students. They are not. Nobody should try to make these people be the victims of this whole story. And I think again, when we will come to the student point, look at what they are asking for. It is very legit. Look at the lecturers that are teaching. How many of them look like people that are earning? There was someone that was telling me that I think in a particular faculty, these lecturers, of course, some of them are becoming very wise these days. They are not just holding on to that money.
Never.
That's why when they come to class, they are looking at a 30-minute lecture with you because they have to go and look for the one that will give them money.
Handouts.
They will sell handouts. Some
Can,
of them might lecture in different universities just to balance their income. But sometimes, because while I was growing up, I usually see the position of a lecturer as a very great position.
Very honorable.
There's a lecturer that lives in front of my house. There was one time that I bought a Cartier leather. Like, I sat down inside the leather of the car, it's just a whole lot. But then by the time I'm thinking and then I am seeing that these people are going on strike, then it actually felt like maybe it is just the students that are just victims, because they actually enjoy, like, from the look of things, like tear leather and all of that. But let's actually look at the perspective of the students. The perspective of the students, these people are not able to, by the time they put their education on a hold, we don't know how long this will last for. According to them, this is a 2-week warning strike, and if they don't do anything in the 2 weeks, they are going to embark on a long strike. Nigerian is yet to balance from the one that happened in 2022.
8 months, guys. That's why it's 6 years balance.
We are yet to balance from the one that happened in 2022. Is it not about time? let's even leave education. Whenever schools are going on strike, whenever federal universities are going on strike, because according to what Professor Chris said, it is not only them, you know, the universities, the College of Education, everybody is on a shutdown. It is not just them. There are people who are investing certain things in these universities that they are at risk of a lot of losses. But are we still saying that, okay, maybe we are not still being considerate of some of these people? Because I understand that we should get these things from them. But also, let's talk about these people. Because if these people are set to go on a strike, maybe for the next 7 months or for the next 8 months, we're about to experience another. It's easy for me to say, thank God I'm no longer in school. But it is not easy on these people.
Don't you have siblings? Don't you have cousins?
Many times I thank God.
So I'm saying the student's perspective, because a student will not see it the way we are seeing it right now. Like I said, I had to graduate before I could see from the perspective of these lecturers. Because I can imagine working the way I'm working now, and I am not getting paid. Or I am not actually getting paid what I am worthy of. Because sometimes it's not like maybe they're not giving them salaries.
They will cut it into 3 and give them one part.
Cut it into 3, or maybe there is a particular one they are owing, and then you're not paying other ones. There is now this particular one that you're owing that you're supposed to have paid.
Ungrateful.
And then you're not paying it. So I'm not saying that we should not validate the feelings of these
It's
students.
almost sounding scary to ask for what is yours. Like,
oh my goodness.
Sir, you are still owing me January. Like,
how ungrateful can you be?
Have we not paid you August
July?
and September? No, it's bad. So for the student owner, I think I'll just say that, see, I'm taking everybody's side at this point. Students have the right to feel pained, to feel mistreated when they stay in school longer than expected. A 4-year program turning to a 6-year program, you don't expect me to say I understand government or ASUU. I don't understand anybody.
Exactly.
Why am I still here? You know, I think like the way the program of a school is, or the calendar, or the program, the years of a program, it was specifically put that way because we expect that this is the normal time for you to have learned, unlearn, relearn, and then be put into the labor force, the workforce of the society and contribute as well. So when you keep us there for too long, what happens is that you're not just training us, you're also training people that are supporting us in that school.
Yeah.
You are hindering us. There are many people that probably got opportunities abroad or opportunities elsewhere that could not go on because they're still in school. And so many more. But I rest my case.
Let's go on a short break right now. When we return, we are going to hear from Chioma first, and then we'll continue. All right, so we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like Nigeria. And if there's going to be any meaningful progress, addressing our energy issues is non-negotiable.
I need to see light from my house. Make them do something.
Band A is expensive. I literally have to turn off all my appliances just to reduce costs.
We need light.
Introducing the Energy Outlook, your go-to show for everything energy. Every week, we'll bring you the latest insights, innovation, and in-depth analysis of Nigeria's energy sector. From policy discussions to regulatory insights, we'll analyze the key decisions influencing growth and sustainability in the energy sector. We'll bring you the human stories behind the headlines, giving you a personal perspective on the broader energy challenges. Join me every Friday at 6 p.m. for the Energy Outlook, your guide to the future of energy, where energy means business.
Welcome back. This is still The Breakfast Show, and this morning we are looking into something that is really, really disturbing, which is in respect to the federal government's reports as regards ASUU, saying that no work, no pay. Is this really justifiable, or is it that maybe ASUU has turned into a broken record where they're just coming out to protest again and again? I mean, 18 strikes in how many years? So it's just a whole lot for us to talk about, and that is what we are trying to do justice to this morning. God help us. So I'm going to give you to Chioma to continue, because let's really look into the student role. I was telling you out that, you know, for some people, they had, you know, certain plans. They were supposed to even leave the country. You know, they were supposed to travel out of the country, that, okay, let me finally leave these people and then Chakpa. But because of the strike, you know, the lockdown, everything. They had to even leave the school that they were in.
If you say it that way, it sounds like, oh, maybe the strike has been helping to reduce the exodus.
Exactly.
Because
don't
we
say
want
it too loudly. They will hold us there.
No, so they had to leave, and then they had to leave that particular federal university that they were in to go to another state university. You can imagine that maybe you're already in 300 level, and then you have to go to another state university to start all over because of the way the whole situation of the country is. So,
well, I mean, I'm sorry that the students are the victim here, right? I mean, when two elephants fight,
the grasses will suffer.
In this case, the students
and
the grasses, right, and the parents. But you see, these things have to be done. You see this strike thing. Because I would suggest, oh, let's have other means of, you know, tackling this thing. Maybe doing online classes or maybe doing hybrid or something. But you see, every tactics I want to talk about has a limit to it. Right? You still have to meet these demands. It's not money you use and buy data for online classes.
Yes.
Do you understand? It's not money you use and buy power bank to charge your device. We cuckoo don't even have lights. It's not money you use and buy petrol to run your fuel, to run your diesel. What's it called? Inverter, generators.
Yes.
So you see, it's sad, but see, they have to actually collaborate with ASUU at this point.
Now, Chairman, let me even give you this instance. With the way the workforce is at this point, where people are telling you that you will not be not more than 26 years of age. And again, JAMB came out one time to say, unless you are 18 before you enter. So imagine somebody that at 18, because of how federal universities can be very competitive, their parents can't send them to Covenant or Babcock. I'm giving you scenarios now.
I don't want to talk about
20 universities.
They probably had to enter at 20 in a federal university that has been striking over time. Probably a 4-year course turned to a 6-year course, and they graduated at 26. They have to do compulsory NYSC 27. What job is out there for a 27, 28-year-old person?
That the federal government provided that they can enter at 27.
There was a company,
so you see that we are the ones really suffering.
A couple of years ago, well, not too long, that I wanted to, it's majorly owned by the federal government, I wanted to work with. And they said, oh, I passed the first stage of the interview. The second stage was an exam. And then I write this exam. And then I didn't hear a call back. I had someone that works there, and then I'm like, what happened? She said, oh, it's the age thing. I'm like, age thing? Well, people kept me in the university. For how long? I was so angry. You understand? So I can really relate to this you're talking about. Every company is telling you, oh, this position is from 24 downwards. 24 years old is still in school.
It's in 200 level.
It's in 200 level. For goodness sake.
Honestly.
So if you're going to actually make strike a part of our education system, essentially you say we are relearning and learning. We are relearning strike. You should remove that caveat of age limit.
Let's not forget that one of the reasons why some of these people opt for, you know, the federal universities,
it's supposed to be affordable.
Because it is affordable.
It's not anymore.
It's not even affordable
it's not anymore.
But
it's
still
supposed
affordable,
to be.
You know, rather than trying a private or a state university.
Country.
So it gets me thinking about, are we now saying that, you know, maybe the strike is not sustainable? Because we have seen years. I mean, look at 16 strikes in years and all of that. Because I begin to ask that, is there ever going to be an end to this? Because if I look at the state of federal government, if I look at the state of Nigeria, if I look at the kind of, you know, if I look at the demands, the way ASUU keeps clamoring and then they're not getting what they want, if I look at the students, if I look at everything, I am beginning to ask questions like, or thinking, are we sure this strike thing is actually going to be sustainable?
These people, their children are not even in these universities.
That is what I'm saying. That maybe the strike might be for a very long time.
Even school shuttle that used to be cheap is not cheap anymore. And it's affecting everybody, like you rightly said. This ASUU strike, the mama that used to sell buns in department is not selling. The mama that sells Zobo in the hostel doesn't sell. The printer, the cafes, even though they sell textbooks, the shuttle drivers, it affects everybody. I keep saying microeconomy is very important to be considered.
Yes.
Leave all this GDP thing you're telling us, oh, we are doing well on the global stage. We're not doing well because you're detached from Nigeria's realities. We're not doing well.
Somebody right now is not going to work today because of ASUU strike, beyond the student and the lecturers.
And then the the man's children in school, and they're dragging them for school fees. Where is the school fees the lecturer is supposed to use?
And the kids will come back after work. Daddy, buy me this, give me
this.
Understand?
You know that this ASUU strike is one that we are not going to even focus on the lecturers at this point. The only person that holds the answer to the predicaments that we're in is the federal government. ASUU is striking because that's the only alternative they have. That's the only way they can combat with you and come to a reasonable agreement. Because the place they want to even teach these students is not conducive enough. They're asking that you please provide infrastructure. They've not eaten. They want you to pay them so that they can be able to have stamina. You know, I can tell you, I don't want to say this and sound somehow, but there are some lecturers that I have seen in some schools. And sometimes when they even stand to teach, you find out that some of them request for chairs to sit down.
Meanwhile, have you seen how crowded year 1 classes are?
Exactly. So the microphone that they use sometimes, some of them are tired. Can you hear me at the back? They can't hear you, sir, because you have not eaten. You are hungry. Federal government hasn't paid you. That's why they can't hear you at the back. At this point, the only person that holds the answer, the only person that holds the answer is the federal government. Students are suffering.
No, this is really
Students are suffering from this, and we're going to speak from the student point. The lecturers as well do not want to continue because it's not convenient. So federal government, imagine you being the only person that has the answer. You cannot be taking us, you can't be taking it as something that is inconsequential.
I mean, let's even look at, because yesterday when I was seeing the news, honestly, I was hoping to wake up this morning to see something different or to see a new development.
Why you sound like a foreigner? You know how it is here.
She graduated since 1995.
Let me tell you why I was really expecting to see a follow-up or something different, you know, to this development, was because yesterday when Professor Chris was speaking, he was speaking in different, you know, different news source, everything. He was speaking to different people, and then he was talking about the fact that, yes, I admit, or we admit that at a point, maybe we did not want to talk to the Minister of Education because of the way they actually handled this matter, which is quite understandable. And then he mentioned that now we are ready to hear from them. Honestly, I was hoping that by this morning I'm going to see a development like, oh, now there was a closed-door meeting with ASUU and federal government. And here we are. By this time, we are not hearing anything from the federal government. Are we now saying that maybe they are using their position of authority that, okay, I'm a senior, I'm this, I'm that? Because if I even look at that letter, I am seeing threats instead of law.
Sorry. Breathe, baby.
Let me tell you what federal government is doing now. I think federal government at this point, when they see that they cannot meet all demands, is loan that is the option.
Sure, they have given us 300,000 naira
that
for
is not IDP. There was a time they also brought out loans for these lecturers. Low interest loans.
We spoke about on this table. Yes. You're not paying us what we deserve, but you want to loan us to manage our...
Wait, you have a development that has the money to supply. Why not just use it to meet the needs? And we don't even have to go through these loans. So I don't know who is advising who exactly in the helm of affairs.
You see, also, you see the way
are out of hand.
The way we are seeing a brain drain in the medical sector, you see this education. You start seeing the way we have...
Abi, we have been seeing it.
What I'm saying is, in lecturers now, you are still seeing lecturers that at least studied what they are teaching. Very soon, the way we are seeing in nursery and primary schools, when you don't have job, you enter there and go and teach. Very soon, that's what's going to be happening in the universities.
Because they are not upholding even the honor that should remain with that position
no honor
of a lecturer.
Why do you think that you can't even find younger lecturers again?
Exactly.
There was a time a particular BGS school says, what am I? I'm not going. But if you check abroad, if you check some of these schools, young lecturers, young professors, because the system, the structure, the environment is conducive, they want to give back.
Listen,
but a 28-year-old student, even if you are the BGS with all A's and they're telling you graduate assistant, you're not going to take that job because you don't want to suffer like the people who have been there. Do you understand? And yet want to see younger people teaching. I'm tired of seeing older people teaching all the time.
That could barely walk.
Exactly. Some of these people need to retire.
Some of these people need to retire, but they cannot retire because if they retire, how much is it that my earning?
How would
I feed my family? Some of them even might have children that, you know, they're already grown up and they can take care of themselves. But even to take care of myself, do you know how much it costs? Just to be to have like this, you know, this headache that I was having. I know how much I went to spend at the pharmacy. I know how much.
Sickness is expensive.
Now imagine a grown-up that is having to take care of their health because their health is not like the way it is anymore. They don't have they're not active. Like what Oluchi was talking about that was cracking you up. They don't have it anymore. They need more to take care of themselves. but they don't even have access. They can't
also
even
want it to be
retire.
attractive to young people. That's another thing I'm thinking.
Yeah.
We want to see young people who are professors, and they chose that career space, that career line, because it is productive. Not the one that I would choose it, and I know that there's no future for me tomorrow. I know that by the time I take this, I'm not sure of my next 3
You have
months
like
salary.
10 more stream of income, just in
Imagine.
case.
And this is us trying to say that make Nigeria a better place. I don't want to use that word, but there is no how we are going to be using it. You know, saying make Nigeria a better place. Because what other solutions can we put in place? Because beyond this cycle, I don't like hearing ASUU this, ASUU that. You really even hear Pegasan as much as you, even though that we heard like Pegasan, you know, some month. You really
heard
hear
everybody
like that.
now. They showed you that
They showed you that
us.
before you can hear Pegasan again.
I feel that in the coming years, right, we would have fewer young people in Nigeria. Do you understand? Because you see the time they increase the price to get passports done. I have people that say if they like, they should make it 1 million. We'll go hustle, get the money.
Get it.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is where we've gotten to as a nation. We don't care the price you take it to. We'll find the money and we'll leave this place because, come on. But then I keep saying, you can't be more Nigerian than a Nigerian. We like this place, but make it conducive for us to be in.
And we have the resources to
We
make it
do, for
conducive.
God's sake, we
just
do.
need to know, reform a lot of policies. Some things, they look nice out there when you put it on the papers, but if you really look intently, you will find out that you are really not solving the needs of the people. I feel like some of these policy makers are becoming very distracted. If you really want to solve the needs of people, look intently at what the people are clamoring for.
What we need.
What they say, if you want to be a business person, you sell, you offer solutions, products that really concern your consumers, not what you think they need. Sometimes the policies that we're seeing is not addressing the main problem.
You're sharing Bible.
Sorry.
No,
they share Bible.
It actually addresses our problem.
Because look at the situation we're in right now.
God, when we read the Bible and we're closer to God,
please,
don't you think things will be better?
Even go there.
I really do appreciate that effort, and I'm hoping that the Bible gets to me.
Stop it.
I need one. Because when I read the Bible, Genesis to Revelation,
you will know you will
provide
know
for
the
me.
kind of advice that you're going
God
to give
will provide for
policy
you.
makers.
Yes,
Please,
yes.
let's even stop that. But I have a thought because I am thinking about a solution. Although this might not be the best to actually advise the ASUU and all of that, but I think maybe they should even grow stronger to become like Pegasan. Because it is not a good. If I think about it, because they would have strength.
They don't.
But at the end of everything,
education
it reminds
like
me about the fact that even Pegasan, it fell back on us.
yes.
It fell back on the citizens.
The grass will suffer. Always.
It's falling back. So I really don't know. I really don't know. But they're taking these people for granted just too much. Because listening to Professor Chris' report on his end, compared to what the Minister of Education was talking about, they are taking these people granted for way too long. So I think ASUU should grow stronger so that we really need to end this cycle. But I don't know. If you ask me if this cycle can end, I don't know. But what are your last words?
My last words is the only person that holds the solution to this, as inspired by God Almighty, the federal government. You are the only answer to this. ASUU is just doing what they think is best. The students are also clamoring, I want to go back to school. ASUU is saying, if you come back, what are we going to teach you? There's no place for you to be here. So it's the government that has the answer to this. And if you hold such great power, please do what is necessary. Your policy reforms can be much more better than it is now. And these needs can be met so that this incensed strike comes to an end. Thank you.
My last words would be until they do the needful. If you find your way, Japa. Period. Yes. Because I'm sorry. Yes, I'm supposed to be patriotic, but please. What is the problem? We've endured for too long, and if we must be the great leaders of tomorrow, we have to go aside.
My ladies, please.
That's my last word.
We need leaders to change this nation. You're telling
It's
them to
okay.
jackpot.
Are they giving us a chance to change it?
Jackpot from there.
So let me settle this. Really, at the end of the day, the no work, no pay policy reminds us that justice is never one-sided. While the government seeks accountability, while they seek, the lecturers are demanding fairness, and everyone caught in the middle, you have the students, you have people whose futures are hanging in the balance, you have people who can't even make ends meet because of this strike. So until both sides prioritize education, this cycle will not end. So do ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channel at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, follow, like, and always tune into Official Upgrade TV. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.